It was a Sunday in early September, one of those bright, honey-colored days when the air smells like sun-warmed grass and dry leaves. The kind of day that almost tricks you into thinking summer will last forever. I remember waking up to the sound of my son's laughter drifting down the hallway. He was 3 years old at the time, all energy and questions and wide-eyed wonder. His name was Caleb, and he was my world. My wife was visiting her sister that weekend, so it was just the two of us. "Daddy," he said, bursting into the kitchen while I poured coffee, "can we go to the woods today?" He meant the small forest just past the river near our home outside of town. It wasn't much, a patch of green, a few trails, and a slow-moving creek that ran down into a wider river. But to Caleb, it was a whole world. "Sure thing, buddy," I said. "Let's pack some snacks and go exploring." He beamed. "Can we see frogs?" "If we're lucky," I told him. By 10 a.m., we were on the trail. The sun poured through the trees like liquid gold. I walked slowly, enjoying the crunch of twigs underfoot, while Caleb darted ahead, stopping every few feet to pick up a rock or a stick he found special. We didn't have any plans, just the quiet hum of the woods, the call of birds overhead, and the laughter of a boy who still saw magic in everything. I remember thinking, if I could freeze one moment in time, it would be this. After about an hour, Caleb started slowing down. His small legs weren't made for hiking trails, no matter how much enthusiasm he had at the start. "Daddy, can we go home now?" he asked, rubbing his eyes. "Sure thing, champ," I said. "Let's head back." We turned down a narrow path that ran alongside the river. The water sparkled, and for a while we walked in comfortable silence. Then, as we neared a bend in the path, I heard something faint, a sound that didn't belong. It wasn't a bird or the rustle of leaves. It was softer, broken. A whimper. I stopped. "Did you hear that?" Caleb looked up, confused. "Hear what?" I waited. There it was again. A thin, desperate mewl. I scanned the riverbank, my eyes tracing the muddy edge where reeds and roots tangled together. Something pale moved against the brown earth. I stepped closer, the ground squelching under my boots, and then I saw them. 3 tiny ginger kittens, no bigger than my palm, half buried in the mud. Their fur was matted, their small bodies trembling weakly. One lifted its head for a moment and gave a faint cry before collapsing back against the others. For a second, I froze. The scene didn't seem real. 3 fragile lives, abandoned on the cold riverbank. Caleb tugged on my jeans. "Daddy," he said, whispering, "what's wrong with them?" I swallowed hard. "They're hurt, buddy." "And were they going to die?" The words hit like a punch. "Not if we can help them." I crouched, my heart racing. Their tiny sides rose and fell unevenly. They were cold, so cold. One barely moved at all. I took off my jacket and gently lifted them one by one, cradling their muddy bodies in the fabric. Caleb started crying softly beside me. "Don't worry," I told him, forcing calm into my voice. "We're going to help them." I carried Caleb in one arm and the bundle of kittens in the other, hurrying back to the car. My heart was pounding. In the trunk, I found an old cardboard box from a grocery run. I tore out the plastic lining and made a makeshift bed with Caleb's extra sweater. We laid the kittens inside. They barely moved. "Daddy," Caleb whispered, tears streaking his face. "They're sleeping?" "Yeah," I said quietly. "They're sleeping, but we need to get them somewhere safe." I strapped him into his car seat and placed the box beside him. He kept peeking inside, his tiny fingers gripping the edge as if his attention alone could keep them alive. I started the car and pulled out fast, heading for the veterinary clinic in town. The drive felt endless, every red light like an accusation. "Hold on, little ones," I kept whispering. "Just hold on." When we reached the clinic, I burst through the door, box in hand. "Please," I said to the woman at the desk, "I found these kittens near the river. They're freezing, barely breathing." Her eyes widened. "Oh my God. Dr. Lin, emergency intake." Within seconds, a vet appeared, mid-30s, calm but urgent. She scooped up the kittens, calling for a nurse. "They're still alive," she said quickly, "but we need to warm them immediately." "Will they make it?" I asked. She looked at me briefly. "I don't know yet, but you brought them in time." That word, time, echoed in my head as she disappeared through the door. Caleb clung to my leg, his small voice trembling. "Daddy, are they going to be okay?" "I hope so, buddy. I really hope so." They kept the kittens in intensive care for several days. Each night after Caleb went to sleep, I sat by the phone waiting for an update. I couldn't stop replaying the moment I found them. How tiny they were, how close they'd been to dying alone in the mud. The clinic called every morning. "They're stable," the vet would say, "eating small amounts, still weak but stronger." It became a ritual. Coffee, work, then the call. Every time I heard her voice, relief washed through me. My wife came home midweek. When I told her the story, she just shook her head and smiled. "That's so you, Ethan. You can't walk past a lost thing without trying to fix it." "Maybe," I said, "but those kittens, they didn't have anyone." She rested her hand on my arm. "You gave them a chance. That's what matters." A few days later, the call came. "Ethan," Dr. Lin said, "they made it, all three. Their immune systems are fragile, but they're fighters. You can visit them if you'd like." I could barely breathe. "We'll be there this afternoon." When we arrived, Caleb ran through the doors before I could stop him. The kittens were in a small incubator, nestled together under soft light. Their fur had been cleaned, and though still thin, they looked like they belonged in the world again. Caleb pressed his hands to the glass. "They're so small," he whispered. Dr. Lin smiled. "Small, but strong. Would you like to name them?" Caleb looked at me, eyes wide. "Can we keep them, Daddy?" I hesitated. My wife and I had talked about it, the noise, the responsibility, the mess. But when I looked at those kittens, at my son's face full of wonder and hope, I already knew the answer. "Yeah, buddy," I said softly. "We can keep them." We brought them home a week later. The car smelled faintly of antiseptic and cat food, but I didn't care. Caleb had already picked names: Sunny, Rusty, and Maple. They were still a bit shaky on their legs, but when we let them out of their crate, they began to explore, sniffing corners, climbing onto shoes, bumping into each other clumsily. Our living room became their playground. Caleb sat cross-legged on the rug, giggling as one climbed onto his lap. For the first time in a long while, our house felt fuller, warmer somehow. I found myself watching them constantly. There was something grounding about their presence, the way they'd curl up in a sunbeam or chase imaginary shadows on the wall. Each one had its own little personality. Sunny was bold, Rusty was calm, and Maple, the smallest, was pure mischief. Every night, Caleb insisted they sleep near his bed. "They'll be scared without me," he'd say. And maybe he was right. Weeks turned into months. The kittens grew stronger, faster, and louder. They followed Caleb everywhere, to the kitchen, to his playroom, even when he built Lego towers taller than they were. Sometimes I'd find all four of them, boy and 3 kittens, asleep in a pile on the rug. Life settled into a rhythm. I still worked long days, but every evening when I came home, 3 ginger blurs would race to the door to greet me. It amazed me how something so small could fill a home with so much life. My wife, once skeptical, became their quiet guardian, feeding them, brushing them, even talking to them when she thought no one was listening. We learned that caring for fragile things teaches you patience. It makes you softer in ways you don't expect. And for Caleb, those kittens became his first real lesson in kindness, that helping isn't about being strong, but about being willing. It's been years since that day by the river. Caleb's older now. He barely remembers the mud or the panic, just the warmth of the kittens on his lap. But I do, every detail. The smell of wet earth, the sound of weak mewing, the rush of hope and fear tangled together. Sometimes when I walk the same trail by the river, I stop at that spot. The ground's covered in grass now, peaceful and quiet. And I think about how easily life can slip away or be saved by a single decision. People talk about miracles like they're lightning strikes, rare and dazzling. But I think miracles are smaller than that. They're found in muddy riverbanks, in cardboard boxes, in the soft heartbeat of something you decided not to walk away from. The kittens still curl up beside Caleb every night. Their fur has turned a deep, shining gold. They've grown into calm, gentle creatures who trust without fear. And sometimes, when the sun hits them just right, they glow. 3 small reminders of a day that changed everything. Compassion isn't about saving the world. It's about stopping, even for a moment, when the world asks for your help. Because sometimes, the smallest act of kindness is what keeps something alive, in others and in us.